Hey pedalers, welcome back to another vlog. Today I'm going back. It's gonna be a super long ride. If you guys did watch the previous ride of my longest ride ever to date, we got 200 kilometers today. I'm gonna take a shorter route because the rear tire is no longer tubeless. I had to put a tube in it. Right now I'm feeling it really firm. It's pumped up to 60. Usually I run 40 on my gravel bike, but the current situation is what it is. Gonna stick to the roads, try to get home as fast as I can. It's already 11 o'clock, super sunny, about 26 degrees, so it should be really nice. No cold like it was when I came here. When I rode, it was like 16, 17 degrees. The highest that day was 19, so this is a lot more enjoyable. If I can worry about one less variable, which is the temperature, overall it's gonna be a better ride. So I'll keep you guys updated, but back on to another adventure. So pedalers, I am back home after 202 kilometers or 201 kilometers. It took me 6 hours and 41 minutes. So you can see right there, we're at 201 kilometers, technically 202. I guess it didn't round off, but it took me 6 hours and 41 minutes. So the way going there took me a lot longer because I took gravel roads and then ended up actually being multi-purpose terrain that had terrible rocks, which was by no means for gravel. It was actually a registered ATV slash snowmobile route that later on became a multi-purpose bike section. So for a long section of the way going there, I couldn't even use it. So on the way back, if you guys watched the first vlog, you would learn that my back wheel, I had to go from tubeless to tube, which was a headache. So like I just been through so much right now. I'm pretty much lost for words. I'm so happy to be home. I changed because I just got some food before they close because it's around 8 o'clock right now, so everything's closing. So we're gonna press save the ride. And I'm just curious to see what was the average speed. So it was funny, I took the gravel bike, 42mm tires, and because the back wheel has a tube in it, I didn't want to risk having a puncture, and I didn't have a spare tube either. So I was like, there's no way I'm going on gravel or any mixed terrain and risking a puncture. So I kept it all on the roads, which I will share my thoughts. So quickly as a summary is average speed 30 kilometers an hour for 201, and max speed was 63 kilometers, which I think is important because I'll tell you guys that this is gravel slash cyclocross bike, but primarily cyclocross bike that I'm using for gravel. And the fact that I hit 63 with no speed wobbles just reiterates. I will make a video probably in the future why I think a cyclocross bike is such a good all-around bike. But right now I'm just sharing all my thoughts. That I didn't feel like vlogging too because if you watched the first video, you would know that I crashed going up north in the first place on the 254 kilometer ride, which took 10 hours. So coming back home, I just wanted to really stay focused in terms of just getting here safely and in one piece. Also on the giant bag, the zipper's broken, so I didn't really want to struggle with having to take it out and in terms of my phone. That's why I will be purchasing the Rafa frame bag because it looks nicer, it performs better, and the zippers are higher quality. But that's amazing. Now, one thing that's crazy that really shows me how tired I was basically because the tire was tubeless. And what I think happened, guys, is that since I had the bike since January and I let the air out of it, tubeless systems need high pressure to seat the bead of the tire onto the rim. So because I let it sit for a long time in my room, maybe for whatever reason, the tire is not seated properly on the rear. So when I was up there, I tried putting more sealant in and then trying to reseat it. But since I don't have a high pressure, compressor, I don't think I was able to reseat it properly where you hear the bing, that it actually, the bead has been seated onto the rim. So, kind of gave it all I had in terms of all the options. And I was lucky enough to have one tube that I was able to get there. So that's basically what I did. I had to take the tubeless system, make it into a tube system, and I was basically hoping that, I got 200 kilometers, not gonna take any risks and just take the roads direct. Now, I was pretty fatigued. My average heart rate was 146 beats per minute, which is pretty tough. Burned 4,000 calories. Now I can't see, I don't have a power meter on my gravel bike, so I would love to see the power zone I was in. Then again, I was not trying to go really fast. I wasn't even trying to, maintain 30 kilometers an hour, especially if riding a gravel bike with 42mm, that's pretty wide. So the whole 30 kilometers for 7 hours is pretty impressive, especially solo. I wasn't drafting, so pretty good in terms of fitness. Then again, because I wasn't able to ride for the past like 4 days, which was like the first time I've actually ever had a proper rest week. You know, I pretty much have been able to taper off some of my fitness I gained from the ride there. So going back, you would expect me to be in pretty good form, because I was expecting to ride a lot while I was up there. So the fact I didn't, it is what it is. It's not the end of the world. But in terms of the damage, if you guys are curious, this is Force E-Type, so it is expensive. I did nick the right side, so everything still shifts properly. It's all good. It's more cosmetic, so I am uptight about that, because obviously you want your equipment to look good. But if you guys did watch the first vlog, there was nothing I could do. I was going super smart into the corner. It was a gravel corner, and my back wheel just slid out under me. I scratched a little bit of the rear derailleur, nothing crazy, and scratched a little bit of the XTR pedal, which, you know, this could have easily, in terms of the damage, I'm very lucky I didn't snap anything, because then I would have had to replace the whole thing, which is super expensive if you know electronic group sets. So this could have easily happened if you dropped your bike on the right side. It could have happened. Obviously, I'm very careful with my equipment, because, you know, I really care about it. So not the end of the world. One thing is that my rear derailleur hanger is slightly bent. Obviously, that's better than the derailleur being broken or the frame. So I will have to probably re-straighten in that at a bike shop, and I will get a new derailleur hanger, because once you actually bend the derailleur hanger, you can still re-straighten it, but it is compromised. So the whole thing, if you guys aren't aware, is that the derailleur hanger is supposed to be bendable and break, so that you don't break the derailleur or the frame. So it's smart, because a derailleur hanger is like $20-$30 compared to the rear derailleur or the frame, which is super more expensive. So very smart, obviously good engineering from bike industry. So I have to figure that out. Other than that, I just want to show you guys some of my thoughts. Now going there, I left very early. Originally, if you guys didn't watch the first vlog, I'll just reiterate my whole experience riding. 254 kilometers the first time, and then 202 kilometers now going back. So if I can express my thoughts going there, I left really early, so like 5 o'clock, it was like 5 degrees, my hands were freezing, I ended up crashing, had like, my hip has you know, road rash, which was pretty bad, so I still rode 10 hours like that. Back wheel was losing air, had to ride out of the saddle until I was able to find someone with a pump, but then all the pumps didn't have the Presta adapter, so they only had straighter, so I had to like keep riding until I found someone with one, which was crazy, because it was like a cheap plastic one, but it still worked. Then I biked 60-70 kilometers, and then my back wheel was losing air, but there was no one around, so I had to cycle outside the saddle, standing up for about 3 hours until I got to my destination. And overall, that ride was a lot, like the fact that I crashed was on my mind, and then the fact that my tire was losing air, that was on my mind, and then my derailleur hanger was bent. So, you know, there was a lot on my mind, but yet again, it taught me that, you know, I could have stopped 30 kilometers in and said, you know what, I just crashed, I'm done. But I kept pushing through, knowing that, like, I planned for this. You know, 254 kilometers is nothing short by any means, especially on gravel. So this whole plan was to go on gravel. And what ended up happening was, after I crashed, I rode for about, I think it was 120 kilometers until I got to the gravel route. And that gravel route was supposed to take me to 200 kilometers. So 80 kilometers of like, well, okay, wait. So before, it was like 30 from kilometer 1 to kilometer 150, it was like 85% gravel. And then it was supposed to be dedicated like trail for 90 kilometers. So after I crashed, kept riding gravel, and then I got to the multi-purpose trail that turned out to be an ATV. So then I had to go on the road, because I'm not familiar with this area in terms of where there's other gravel roads. Eventually kept going straight, because the trail was parallel to the main road. And one thing that's crazy with here in Canada, I don't know how it is around the world, but the shoulders are so narrow. So I'm basically, if you guys have ever done track riding, it's like cycling on the velodrome with the white line. So I was just making sure I was on the white line, and cars, you know, they're not respectful. Like around here, I guess, in terms of like, you know, country, close to the city, country roads, where it's not like a highway, which like I understand, it's not a dedicated highway, but it's one of those regional roads that are like 80 kilometers is the speed limit, where the highways is 100 kilometers. So like this is kind of like as close as a highway as you're gonna get, where people just don't have patience. Trucks, you know, I'm trying to descend, and you know, I'm not scared of descending at 40 kilometers, 50 kilometers, 60 kilometers, but my Garmin's gonna shut off. But like when you have, you know, trucks coming around you and they can create a big gust of air, you know, you don't want to be descending at, even at 50 kilometers or 40 kilometers, because it's just sketchy. So, you know, I didn't enjoy that, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. So when I made it there, you know, assess the damage. My bibs that are super expensive, those got ripped just in 2 small spots, which is crazy. My road rash is like this big, but then there's just 2 little holes. So I think there's like thermal transfer in terms of how you get injured in road rash. It wasn't like a big rip in the bibs. Other than that, very lucky I didn't hit my head or anything. And now coming back, this is what I want to talk about. So today, you know, I left at 11, super lucky it was warm. When I actually went up there, guys, the warmest it got was 18 degrees. So I was in full like arm warmers, leg warmers, the gilet jacket, like it was crazy cold. And then coming here was like 25 degrees. I would say 23, 24 degrees average. So super nice. I left at 11, didn't want to leave early morning where it was cold. Then again, I had to put a tube in this morning, which was like, whoa, like literally right before I'm going, I'm putting a tube in. So I put a tube in and I set off and ate a pretty big lunch before, but in terms of fueling for 7 hours, give or take, technically 6 hours and 40 minutes, but I just had 4 bananas and I filled up with juice, lemonade from a grocery store into my bottles. So, you know, it did the job. Still, the fact that I was able to hold 30 kilometers an average shows that nutrition-wise I was good. Obviously, I could have been maybe a little bit better fueled, but I wasn't planning to do any PRs, or it wasn't a race. It was just trying to get home from a big solo adventure. But I think what this ride and experience taught me as a rider is just what you think you can do way more. So now the fact that I've ridden before in 2016, the most I've ever ridden on a bike, even before I did this, was 232 kilometers in a day. And knowing that, I was like, you can easily, let's put an additional 30 kilometers. So I was like, I know I can do, you know, 254, 260 easily. But like, obviously it's hard to say that until you do it. So the fact that I've actually done it now, then again, like I said, because the whole going there, I did 254 and there was all the gravel roads I went on, like it ended up being 10 hours. We're coming home 200 kilometers. It took me 7 hours. So I shaved off 3 hours. Then again, didn't do 254, did 200. So if I was on a dedicated road bike, not a gravel / cyclocross bike, I could probably do 300 within 10 hours, I think, easily. Obviously, we would have to see that before I say it like that, but the fact that I've done 254 and then 5 days or 6 days later done 200 shows you that, you know, it's a lot of mental in terms of what your body can do. When you think you can't keep going. And there was multiple times on the ride where I just wanted to stop and just be like, let me ask for a ride home or something. But you know, you just keep pushing through because you that was a lot of spit. I guess I'm so dehydrated. But yeah, I knew I could just do it. If you guys enjoy this rant, it's cool. I'm gonna make more video on what I actually learned in terms of solo adventures, and I think everyone should, you know, try to do something. If your max ride is, let's say, 60 kilometers or 70 kilometers or 100, just try to add 30 kilometers, make it a day, make it an event, and just see what you guys can do, because you'd be surprised what you're capable of doing when you put your mind to something. So if you guys did enjoy the video, there will be tons more videos. I just wanted to update you guys. If you guys missed more of the riding, I apologize. I just wasn't in the mood to really vlog. I just wanted to get home, reset my my mental area, you know, rebandage my wound, get some food in me, and then we'll be back to regular content very soon. So I hope you guys did enjoy this vlog. I'm back, ready to make the content. Keep it coming, get back into a swing of training, structured training, and until the next one, keep on pedaling.